Where we live to game and game to live. As always, I'm Belth, and with me today, again, I have Beast. Say hello, Beast.
Hello.
And
I hear my voice.
and we're doing episode 2 in our teaching new players how to play Total War Warhammer. This is for 1 and 2. Again, just to get you into it, Beast has never played this game before. He's one of my moderators from my channel, good mate, and we've been friends for years. I've always been trying to get him into the Total War series, but he just has never been into it. After watching me stream recently with my Queek Head Taker live streams on Twitch and YouTube, he decided to get into it and bought 1 and 2 and some of the DLCs. So I thought, since I'd be teaching him anyway how to play, we would do a teaching new players how to play. I don't imagine there's that many new players out there, but hopefully this can give you some of the strategy and tips and hopefully help to make your campaigns a little bit easier for new players. All right, where we left off last time, we had just finished Beast's first battle. The first series was really just, the first episode was a lot of explaining. So if you've made it to the second episode, congratulations. And not gotten too bored. So Beast just finished his battle and took the Pillars of Grungi. Now you're going to have to wait and rest a little bit. You are sitting in the settlement, Beast, so you will be getting replenishment on your troops. You'll notice that if you click on Mr. Thorgrim there, that you'll see that some of your troops have lost a lot of their health. The yellow on that blue bar represents, or it'll be yellow on the green bar for you, I think.
Yeah.
Represents
yellow on the green.
Correct. That represents your replenishment rate. So you probably need 2 turns in that base to fully replenish your hammerers. So I'd probably...
That was my next question. Sorry for interrupting. That was my next question for you before. When healing, how do you heal your troops? They just heal over time. You need to be in a settlement to get the good healing.
Okay, so you'll get more healing, right, if you're inside one of your settlements. And then it also depends on what is built in the settlement. If you have certain structures in the settlement that will increase your regeneration and growth generally, then you'll get more recruitment, right? The other side of it is if you're just sitting in lands that you own or you're in an ally of your land, say you've got a military alliance with me and you're sitting in my lands, you'll also get replenishment. So as long as you're in friendly lands, either your own or an ally's, you'll get replenishment. Depending on what they have built in there, depends on how much replenishment you'll get. You'll never get as much as sitting in your own built-up settlement. Does that make sense?
So what if I was just... Yes, it does, actually. So what would I... So if I'm out in the field, just to get it through my thick head, if I'm out in the field, I still get replenishment heal. If I'm in enemy territory, I get none or just a very little amount.
It will if you're in enemy territory, but it's not a negative. So say you're in the vampires territory, they have, or Skaven for that matter, they have corruption. So you're taking damage the whole time you're in there, unless you're in the underway, right? Because if you're in the underway, you're underground, so you don't take any damage from that. Yeah, but in underway, you won't replenish any troops. But say you're on top of land, you'll replenish a little bit. If you go into encamp stance, remember how we talked about the stances down the bottom here on the green, there's a little green marker below Thorgrim's beard there. There's a little green marker. If you go to encamp stance, even in the middle of the vampire territory or anywhere, you'll start replenishing and rehealing, and you can recruit an encamp stance. So you can use that anywhere. Cool?
Yep.
All right, let's keep moving. Let's get our first battle in for this particular episode. We'll try to make this one a little bit shorter, guys. This one will be only about 30, 40 minutes max, and we'll try to get a couple more battles in for you in this one to make it a bit more fun. Okay, so Beastie, can you build anything?
I'm still building. I've still got turns to go before the last build.
Okay, can you build anything in the Pillars of Grungi or repair anything? So click on the settlement.
No, hang on. I'm trying. Give me a sec. It's interesting. I click on the Pillars of Grungi. It just goes to Karas one.
No. That'll take you to the Silver Road.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
right?
No, sorry. Yep, that was my bad.
And you got Pillars of Grungi.
No, nothing to build on that one yet.
So the Silver Road is that whole province. It's all 3 of those settlements. Yeah. Once you own all 3, you own that province. So there's nothing you can build in there yet?
I see that now.
All right, so you basically, you're done, mate. There's not much you can do. You're waiting on everything to go through. So I just click
heal and build.
End turn with the little timer.
I haven't. Oh, it's telling me I can do something.
All right, so click
I'm in Forum Grudge Bearer's skill tree by the looks of it.
Okay, so he has earned a skill point. So now you can pick on his skill tree. I can't help you here. Oh, hang on, maybe I can. No, I can't. So you can pick whatever his skills are that you want to upgrade. I would suggest just doing the first 2 or 3 up the row. So the first blue one, the first red one, and the first yellow one to start with.
So the first yellow one is full plate armor. The first blue one is route marcher.
Yeah, which will give you, if you read the tooltip, it'll give you extra campaign movement, which is really important because that means you can move further in turns. Little tip for new players, pretty much the first point you spend, doesn't matter what lord or what faction or anywhere that you want to put points into, is the route marcher one. Being able to move further means that you can protect settlements, you can attack enemies, you can just do it's pretty much the most important one. So the first point is usually always spent on the route marcher, no matter what lord, and they're all the same in that regard.
Done.
Okay, so press that, then press end turn. We just end your turn, and we'll be next.
Oh, those flags look pretty good, actually. Can you change your flag, or are you stuck with whatever you were given?
You can with mods. You can go, these are flags that were done for the game, but the original flags, you can get one called, I think it's called Banners, and it changes all the flags. It's a mod you can get for the game that changes them all to as close to the tabletop as you can get. Some of them are pretty close. Others are very different from the tabletop.
Yeah, so even using simple mods that do nothing bad, there's not still classes cheating on it.
Oh no, the modding community here is fine, man. Like, and they encourage mods. It's a good thing. It helps to give life and longevity to the game between updates. It's a very positive thing.
What are we doing here?
So Zufbar has done something. So what does he want from you? Zufbar's asking you something.
Yeah, he says, now is the time to unite and begin the age of reckoning. He wants to be friendly.
Yeah, well, he's a dwarf. That's a dwarf kingdom, so that's a good one. You want to do that?
Who is it? I thought it was you. Okay.
No, they're just above you.
Yeah, I agree to that.
That'll keep going now.
Now that I'm friendly with him, can I do anything with him, or is that just completely a?
No, well, you can trade and stuff once you have a connecting landmass. So trade is a really good thing. Once you can build certain parts in certain settlements or certain structures and settlements that will allow you to produce certain materials, whatever, depending on what you build, that'll allow you to then trade those materials to other factions that are either connected to you through a port, if you are lucky enough to own a port, so such as this settlement down here. So because there's an access through here, this Barak Var actually has a port in it, right? So once you own Barak Var, anything else that has a port, you can technically trade to them. If you don't own a port, or if you're landlocked, then you have to have a connection from your main starting base to whatever faction it is that you're trying to trade with. If you do, then you can trade with them.
Right.
They might not want to trade with you.
Do you choose the resources to trade, or does it do it automatically?
We're going to fight this one. We don't need to save it. We're going to fight it. Okay, we're having a battle.
I can just spectate if you want, and I can just get some clues off.
No. I'm going to give you a couple of troops to play with. That's how you learn. That's the whole point of it. So just press spectate. Never press the auto resolve. Just press spectate. Unless I auto resolve it, which means it'll come up with only auto resolve. Yeah.
You'd never do that though, would you? You'd never.
Oh, you plenty of times. I mean, I could auto reserve this. So when you're looking at that, the more yellow in that bar, the more basically the higher percentage you're going to win, and you can auto resolve. I would suggest that anything that is half or under, never auto resolve it, because you're going to lose it. You only auto resolve if you're 75% of the bar or higher, and even then you might get an unlucky roll with it, because there is an RNG element to it. So yeah, about anything below 75%, I would not risk rolling it unless you're willing to risk taking a lot of damage. Now this is interesting. Let's have a look at the map really quickly. Now I didn't do this with Beastie's campaign in our last episode because it was a flat place, so you didn't really need to worry too much about it. But for new players, what you've got to really understand is, think if you haven't read Sun Tzu's The Art of War, do so, right? But basically, you want to be uphill. You want people to fight you uphill. There is a bonus for a couple of things. You get a bonus if you're charging. You get a bonus if you're fighting downhill and that your enemy has to fight uphill. You get a bonus for that. So that's really important. Try to get the higher ground. This gives you a big advantage. And we're going to take our rangers here who should have... Yeah. See, our rangers have... they have... what I can't remember what it's called. It'll come to me. It will come to me. They have the ability where they can deploy anywhere. And don't be afraid, guys, to look at the corners here, right? Sometimes you'll find there's a bit of forest in this corner. And you might want to put hide some Vanguard. That's right, Vanguard deployment. They have Vanguard deployment. You might have some Vanguard cavalry or something like that. And there might be a little bit of forest here hidden in this corner. You can whack your Vanguard in there and then hit them from the rear without them ever knowing about it. So don't be afraid to do that. If there's a bit of forest down here, I can pop them down in here. No one can see them. I'm not going to do that this time because it's not necessary, but remember that vanguarding is a really, really good skill and can give you a lot of benefit. So we're going to give Beastie on this one, we're going to give him a couple of lords to play with.
Ooh.
All right. So we'll just, we'll give him all the lords. There you go. Right, you got some lords to play with there, man. I'll just keep Balagar myself and the rest of it. Right, so what we're going to do here is pretty straightforward. They have a fairly large line. As the dwarves, you're almost always going to be outnumbered. However, your troops are a lot stronger. They have higher loyalty and higher stamina than most other troops. You don't want to rush to meet them most of the time. We're going to pull the Iron Hammers here. Remember, these are two-handers without shields, so they're not the best defensive, but they are very, very good at killing things, especially with armor. So our guys with our shields have great defense stats, right? So we're going to want to use them as much as we can. We'll use the miners at the back here as a reserve unit. And what we're going to do is we're going to force... He's going to start, as most armies do, right there. That's where they're going to start, right? 9 times out of 10. So what we're going to want to do is turtle up a little bit. We're going to go like this. Okay, we're going to spread our line really thin.
Quick question.
Yeah, go for it.
Could you get one unit to mix in with the other unit? Can they sort of stand together instead of, not separate? They can.
Yep, absolutely. And in fact, that's actually a really cool strategy. If you've got like, so I don't want these guys. These guys do a lot of damage, right? My hammerers will do a lot of damage, but you don't necessarily want things trying to hit on them, right? You want them hitting on stuff, but not things hitting on them. So a valid strategy you can use is if you grab these really expensive high damage units and I put them just behind or even mixed slightly into a unit that has very good shields and high defense and also charge defense, because my hammerers don't have charge defense against large, right? But these dwarven guys do. So let's say your opponent's coming in and they're going to charge. Well, you're going to negate, because your guys in the front here, your front line, all have charge defense. They're going to negate all that charge. Basically, they're going to take the full charge and negate it at the same time. And even if they didn't negate it, even if they were maybe they're just a crappy unit, right, that doesn't have charge defense, they still get charged. They take the brunt of it. Your hammerers don't take anything. Then the hammerers engage, right? And so they're doing all the damage whilst not having to take that initial charge. So that's a good way of protecting important units that you want to do damage but not. The other way is just to sit them right behind here, let the initial charge happen, and then roll them in behind them. I like to use units like this as a backup, so I'll sit them generally in the middle of the lines here. Now, Belagar himself is an absolute tank. He is I think he's the tankiest. I mean, I'm probably wrong here, but I think he's like the tankiest hero there is. He's just pure. You can literally, later on, you can put Belagar right in the middle here. The whole army will just surround him, and you'll just fire crap in there. Like, you'll just have like all kinds of stuff going in there. They'll all try to kill him, and he'll just sit there laughing at them. He is very, very, very tanky. So he's a great character to sort of start with. However, bear in mind, his campaign is a lot harder for the dwarves. Now, with my archers, I'm going to sit them on the flanks. And I'm going to sit them right out here because we will get them trying to flank us. I'm going to put them about there. Now, something that you don't want to do with archers is you don't want to do that. And the reason you don't want to do that is because if you have to turn them, they're going to turn like that. So say you've got some cavalry coming around here. They're going to turn right through here, and then that means they're now open to attack, right? So turning them, by keeping them in a tight block, they will turn much quicker and tighter. Don't worry about the guys in the back. They'll still shoot, no problem. I'm going to pull them in to about here. Keep them in the tight block we were talking about. We're going to pull these guys, and we're going to put them about there. Actually, we're going to spread them a little bit. Now, these guys are a different story. So what this means is I've left a little gap here. Things could get through, but they're probably not going to. I'll be able to react quick enough to take this or to take that. This also means that I can cover off this flank a little bit. Anybody trying to flank me now has to go extra long mile around, and I'm going to get all the shooting time while they try to get around here, right? So we're going to get lots of shots in there. So we're going to have this guy just sit here. We're going to put our archers there.
Something.
And our hammers in the center.
Something strangely cool.
What's that?
There's something silly cool. If you're out wide, they don't move, but you go in close and look at them, they start going, ah, start reacting. That's kind of good. It's just a silly little thing.
It's all right. We're going to spread our lines. No, I know what you mean. We're going to spread our lines just a little bit here, right? Because we don't have a lot. And you can do that with the dwarves. It's not a big deal.
What do you want me to do with the lords?
Pull into here. Right, so I want you to sit the lords just behind the front lines. Right. Now, hang on. Just put one there. Put one here, one here, one here, and one here. Cool. Now, each one of these lords has, like, a buff, right? And you'll see they all have buffs. You've got a couple of Thanes there. You've got you've got a couple of Thanes who are fighters. So the guys with little helmets are Thanes, so they're actual melee experts. You've got a Ruined Priest here who is a buffing, so he's not going to be as tough as the two Thanes. And then you've got this guy here who is awesome. This guy is a missile specialist. He's an engineer, so he's going to be the least tank. So we really don't want him fighting as much. So maybe move your guy with the circle beast, your engineer, over to this flank over here where he's least likely to get attacked.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yep, okay.
And then put the anvil guy probably over here and the two Thanes in the front because they're your melee experts. And I'll put Belagar right there, okay? So this is ideally about the best you're going to get. It's not a Gillette commercial. It's not the best a man can get, but it is the best we're going to get here. Now, mate, just move the guy with the little anvil up the top here. He's your Ruined Priest. He's not as good a fighter as the Thane. So you see your little anvil guy?
Top?
Up there.
Yeah, I got him.
Let's pop him up there. And then put the Thane that you've got still standing out the front there. Cool. And we're now ready to go. Now this is called a turtle box. Well, I call it a turtle box. You can call it whatever you like. But basically, this is just me pushing. It's corner camping, so don't do this in multiplayer because it's really annoying. But on a campaign for new people and playing with dwarves, this is a good way of learning how to utilize both the strength of the dwarves, because they are very strong, very defensive, yeah, and they have excellent missile troops. So you're going to see here as we start, we are outnumbered, and this is almost always going to be the case with dwarves. However, we're going to win this. So you'll see that he's got Cav, yeah? He's got Goblin Wolf Riders. on both sides of us. So he is going to try to flank. He's going to get around. He's going to try to get around the back of us. Now, there's two things that we could do here. We could fall this position back here, right? So we could pull this to there, and we could pull this one down to here and make them run even further, which allows our archers to shoot even more and thins up. So we basically become a point like that. But I don't think we're going to need to do that. We should be able to kill them as best we can. Now, there's only one cav on this side and two cav this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my miners. See how that's the white on the map? So they can't go outside of that map, but they can get around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my miners here. That way, if they want to hit us, they got to come all the way around. Now, what I'm going to do, that cav is missing over here somewhere. That's okay. I'm going to move my archers on the left flank here. I'm going to move them to the center. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to put both my archers onto these cav. They're a bit of danger. We want these archers doing their work, and they can't do it if they're getting attacked by cav. And the cav are going to try and come at them as quickly as they can. The cav will move in, and they'll come around here and try to get into the... If you watch Turin and Milk and Cookies and all those guys, they call it the cookie jar, right? Which basically means all the goodness and the sweetness in the back here, which is all your weaker artillery units that put out a lot of damage. They're glass cannons, right? They are a much weaker prospect. What we're going to... No. What are you doing? Stay there. What we're going to do here is I'm going to fold these guys back a little bit. So get ready with that Ruin Priest, mate. I'm going to move that line back. On the left, you've got the... sorry, not the Ruin Priest. The engineer there.
I'm moving him.
Yeah, so we're pulling back our lines a little bit. Okay, here we go. And here they are. Too busy chatting. So I've put my archers to deal with them straight away. And look at this. Now we have this going on over here.
Yeah, they all definitely favour the flanking manoeuvre, don't they?
Okay, so they just charged you in the front. Roll your guys in there and let's kick their bum. Roll your two generals in. See where we've engaged in the front there, mate. Okay, don't chase.
In front.
And they're in the cookie jar, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're a bit screwed.
It's all right. Okay, hammers are going in. Now going to put our dowie onto those archers. Throw Balagar in. Make sure you've put your Thanes into battle, man.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just concentrating my fire on their archers. I want to get rid of them because they're just pounding in. We'll win this front line, but we can't be taking peppering all the time. Okay. They're routed. They're off the field. That's fine. Okay. Looks like all of their stuff is routed off the field. We can now... Actually... Now, we could just roll in the back there. That would be easy, right? But we don't want to do that. We're going to want to envelop them. Okay, we got one that's rolling. They're retreating. Okay, they're retreating before we got the chance. They'll be back. We're now going to roll our Dwarf Warriors in behind these guys. We're going to hit them from the flank and make them retreat. These guys will come back, right? So we're going to roll our Dwarves out here to defend from coming in here. These guys are coming back. Throw some fire at them. Let's sandwich these guys. And we'll chase a little bit. Okay, we've got the Orc Chieftains coming in, mate. Throw your Thanes at him. You've got those two Thanes.
All of them?
Yep, two of them. The two Thanes you've got, the guys with the spiky helmet for pictures. They're both melee specialists. They should make short work of him, two of them together.
Yep, done.
Okay. Now, I can roll these guys up the right here, but they're not going to need it, to be honest with you. And everything's shattered. There we go.
Now, we're not in a settlement. Should we chase them down? Or are we in a settlement?
We are in a settlement, so that's the end of that. Right. We don't need to. You might, and sometimes, guys, you do get points for killing units, right? So the more units you kill, the more points you get. And sometimes it's fun just to let them, like, rampage. The dwarves themselves, though, are the slowest race. Minus the slayers are the slowest race. They don't normally have any cavalry. Later on, they get giant slayers, which kind of work as cavalry. Or slayers kind of work as cavalry as well. Sort of. Slow cavalry with not a lot of armor. But, I mean, they're really cool. We'll get some of them later. So but they don't get those till much later. So you kind of don't have to worry about cavalry to start with, which is why the dwarves make an excellent first starting race if you're a beginner. They are a lot less micro-intensive. So, I mean, again, we saw how using defense strategies, denying people from denying cavalry from getting in our back lines, although he did get in our back lines because I wasn't paying attention. My bad. But we saw how we can route pretty quickly.
You gonna keep this?
Oh yeah, of course. This is my first settlement mode.
Oh, okay. So I thought we might be playing on a map you played on before. Yeah.
So that's our first settlement. So 1 second, just making sure my green screen's still working. Okay, now you have to click because we're playing co-op, mate. So click the OK button. Yeah, there we go. Done. So I've just taken my first settlement here. So I started with Karagizor. That's where you start with Balagar. His first settlement, if I click on it, it shows me that the first province for him is Karak Bulfdar. I'm going to wreck these names, by the way. Zarak Zeel down here. That's his first settlement. Right, so we're going to try and get that straight off the bat and hopefully make friends with Miragliano. Skaven Blight down here are not going to be our friends. That's just not going to happen. So as we've taken it, we can see that we can build something here. Now, as we go through here, we can see that this is one of those resources we were talking about. This is the Woodsman's Hut. So if we look over it with the thing, we get income of 100, timber resource production 20 logs, recruitment cost -20 for dwarf quarrelers, rangers, bolt throwers, and grudge throwers. This is really, really good to have because the dwarves outside of Ungrim Iron Fist, who should be played as a full Slayer army as much as possible, just because you should. But the other two, by all means, you should be using artillery. It's one of the dwarf's strongest playstyles and one of the easiest to win. So this is a really good thing to have in here. However, I probably won't get it straight off the bat because although it will give me 20 logs, which will give me trading resources, at the moment, I'm more concerned. I will get archers from these guys. And these guys here, if we have a look, campaign movement range -10 for every enemy starting their turn in your region. Really, really good. Ranger Scout plus 100% campaign line of sight. All armies in this region. So you get massive line of sight. Unlocks recruitment of rangers. Now the rangers are the archers that we just talked about. And they're pretty damn good because they give you the ability to Vanguard that we talked about before. Their damage is pretty good. Everything's pretty good. If we go up here and we look at... where are they? No, we go here. The Quarrelers. Armor is 80. And then you're looking at missile damage 21, ammunition 22. And we go over here. Ammunition 18, so less. Missile damage the same. So, I mean... but cheaper, 125 versus 137. So a little bit cheaper. They have less armor, but they have the Vanguard, which is really important. The other side of them too is that you then get these guys further on. And Bugman's ranges are awesome. Really, really good. 20 ammunition, 25 missile damage, huge range, 160. And then you get the rangers with great weapons. These guys can plow through stuff. They're really, really good. So that's something we want. But we also want this. The dwarves are very slow to grow, which is part of their whole lore. So one of the things you kind of want to focus on with dwarves to start with is money, because they're really expensive, and growth. Those are the two that I always start with. Try to get your money and your growth up as quickly as you can. that will get your settlements rolling quicker. We want to grow this so that we can open up slots here, and we have to get this to here to do that, and up to here to get this secured as best we can, especially with Balagar, because his mission is to come all the way over here and take 8 peaks, and he's taking huge penalties to his troop costs until he does that. So you kind of want to get this starting section done really quickly and as secure as you can get it so that you can start ranging without having been caught in here all the time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pop in the growth and try and get that moving and rolling. We've got kind of everything we need. We can sort of recruit everything we want for now. I also have a point here, so let's go into Balagar. Again, we're going to do route march, as I said. And then usually, I mean, we only got a point here, but usually I would go Inspiring Presence and Full Plate Armor. Get those 3 to start off. Almost doesn't matter what lord you're using. Always get those 3 to start off with. And then it's up to you. The bottom line here is usually, so it's like this is your general tree. I sort of call it the general tree. This gives you all your buffs, like to campaign stuff. So if you see here, it's got the blue tree is chance of intercepting an army using the underway. This is really good, especially for dwarves, because what that will generally mean is unless they come in behind you, which is rare, they have to come at you down a long corridor in the underway, which means if you've got a really solid front defensive line like the dwarves do and excellent artillery, they can't flank you, because you like if they have cavalry, it's useless unless they can reinforce behind you. Even then, that doesn't happen that often. So normally they have to come at you, and you've got all this great artillery smacking them the whole time they're coming at you from range. So this is a really, really good tactic for dwarves. Warmaster, enemy siege holdout time, so that's good for taking down cities. Untainted per province, so this is for chaos and vampire type stuff. Construction costs, another good one. Here, the best one to put points into, in my opinion, is just to go into here. 4 points will get you onto your next section. So I usually go into the mines here to do as we said, and then you can travel around underway, which is good because you can just go through mountains instead of having to go around them. And then I usually put a point into construction costs, or I do construction costs up. So 9% is nothing to get too sneer about for construction. Iron Will is amazing. Dwarves replenish really slow and they grow really slow. So replenishment is good for dwarves. Very good for dwarves. And wound recovery for generals. So that's really good. Lightning Strike is gold for dwarves. Absolutely gold. You are almost always going to be outnumbered because of the other races just having more numbers than you. So what this does is if you're attacking, you get to deny the enemy from bringing in a secondary army. So if you attack and there's 2 of them, you can actually click Lightning Strike and deny that second army from even participating in the fight, which is really, really good for a dwarf who's almost always going to be stronger than the opposing army 1-to-1, right? But 2-to-1, you're going to take a lot of damage. You might still win, but you're going to take a lot of damage. So you can just clean him up one and then hit the next one. So this can save your army. This is absolute gold, absolute gold. And for new players, I would totally recommend getting that as quickly as humanly possible. Attrition rates, this is okay depending on where you are. If I was playing Ungram Iron Fist, then I'm right next to the vampires, and so I would definitely be putting points into this so that you're not taking vampiric corruption. Inspiration, casual replenishment rate, again, good for dwarves, and it goes up to 15%, which is nice. Flappable, ambush defense chance. Now, there's a lot of things you're never going to get. Well, you can get ambushes on other players with dwarves, but they're the least able to do it, in my opinion. The best ambushes in the game are probably beastmen, elves, and Skaven. And I actually think the Skaven are one of the best. So some really good stuff on the blue line. I tend to go down at first. This line is all about your general. So the yellow line is just about him mostly. So as you can see, it just buffs him, defense, melee defense, hit points. I'll go into more in another episode. I just want to make this one too talky. And then like some abilities and bits and pieces. The secondary line, or the red line, this is all your army buffs. So if you see here, down here, we get minus 15% for Rangers upkeep cost. Yeah. Ammunition plus for Iron Drake's cannon, flame cannon. So these are massive buffs for your army. So these are personal buffs for your general. These are buffs for your army. These are buffs, usually buffs for your faction sort of thing. So things to remember. And these ones here are all personal, and these are your good buffs, like they're personal buffs. So kind of the yellow and the top line there are one and the same. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're pretty much done at this point. We're gonna recoup for a round. We've got 807 coming in on our turn timer, so we're not too bad. And we're gonna come down here and we're gonna take this. I'm gonna leave the 807 and keep my money going because I'm gonna wanna do some building when I can. I could possibly put another troop in here. What do we got? Might be worth putting in some archers. A lot more expensive, aren't they? Might be worth putting in at least one. What are they? 200. That's 400. That's going to halve. Yeah, let's do it. We're going to do it. Okay, so we're going to roll down on that. And we're done. So let's move into the next turn with Beastie. Now, Beast is going to get another shot at another battle. So we should get another quick one in before the end of this. We're at 35 minutes now, guys, so we'll do this battle and then we'll end it for episode 2 of teaching new players Total War Warhammer. So, Beastie, let's have a look at you. So, he's on the Silver Road here. Obviously, Mount Squighorn is his next target. Let's have a look at his guys. How are they going? Well, you can make a choice here, Beast. You could attack Mount Squighorn. There's no army there, so you're only fighting the garrison. Right? And the garrison's not that big. If you have a look at the Silver Road there, you can see that he only has a greenskin hideout and it's only level 1. And he has a mustering field that's only level 1. So you can see that. If you look down the bottom of the Silver Road panel there, you'll actually see that there's two things. You've got one there's like 2 red boxes down below, right? One says overview, which is giving the overview of that province. And the other one says garrison detail. So if you click on that, you there, Beastie? I lost you?
I was going to try you with a snore sound, but I thought, nah, I won't do that.
So down the bottom here, Beast, you've got that bottom one there, we've got the garrison details, right?
Yeah, I've just clicked on that, yeah.
Okay, so you can see that there's only...
He hasn't got much.
No, he hasn't got much in it. It's very low level. As you get closer, you should actually be able to see, once you get into that red line, I think, you'll be able to actually see, or even into the province, you might be able to see what specific units he's got in there. This should be an easy battle and an easy win for you. So I would just attack it.
All right, so I'll go straight into it.
Yep. All right.
He's got nothing.
All right, so let's fight it. All right, I'll spectate, and yeah, let's kill these guys. So there's only 3 little goblins with spears and 2 orc boys. This is gonna be pretty straight up and down fight.
What would you like this time?
Just throw me the hammerers, mate, because they're your most precious unit, and they're also the most damaged. So I'll just.
They're not completely healed up though.
Yeah, so we probably won't even. We don't even need them to fight in this one. So we might just leave them out of the fight. So just give them to me and I'll put them away somewhere and whatever. I can take some archers or you can do the art, just whatever. It's only a little one. Do you want to deal this one yourself? Just give me the hammerers and I'll get rid of them for you.
No, I'm not fussed. We're co-oping, so let's co-op.
All right, well, throw me the hammerers.
Take whatever you're good with and I'll just play with the rest and I'll learn as I go.
All right, well, throw me the hammerers then. Or you could just put the hammerers down here if you want. Just put them in the forest.
I gave you control of the hammerers.
Okay, so all I'm going to do is, right, if you've got a unit like these, are a high-value unit, that they're not going to die here, no means, but we just don't want them to lose any more health. They're slow to replenish.
Move
so I'm just going to pop them down here.
To the top of the hill, to the right.
They should be...
Is it really not worth it?
Right, they should be hidden down there. They'll be hidden, surely. They will be hidden. I'm sure of it. Anyway, it doesn't matter now because they're going to come at us. Okay, so now if you just box all of those guys, so click on up here and draw a box around them.
I got everything selected, yes.
Okay, if you look down the bottom, you'll see that there's like the little little red boxes, right? Now these are commands, overall commands for those guys. So if you click on set formation, they'll have one where it's kind of got the arrows in front and one where it's kind of got the swords in front. Click on the swords in front. So it automatically sets all of your melee troops to the front and your archers to the back. And if you click...
That's good. That cuts a lot of time off.
Yep. Now if you do that again, if you square box over the top and you click on that one, it'll open it up and you will be able to do the opposite with the archers in front.
Like that.
There you go. Now it's never going to put your artillery in the front because that would be stupid, but
yeah, of course.
You can do that if you want. Now I would I would recommend 90% of the time running like this with your archers in the rear, especially with dwarves. You don't really need to. So a couple of things that I would do here, mate. I'd probably just I'd manually click or drag and click the front, just your melee troops there, and drag them out so you extend your line a little bit. And I would bring them up the top up here. You don't really need to, but I do it up here so that they have to fight you up the hill.
I was asking that before because that's the very tippy top part.
So well, you don't need to because you're going to win this either way. You could just stay in a fight here. I'd probably just drag.
But it's good to get into the habit of it.
It is good to get in the habit of it.
And the miners.
Now we're not necessarily corner camping here. We're just trying to get them to attack us uphill, right? So you probably want to change that line so it's like this because they're going to be here, right? Oh, hang on, that was really unco. They're going to be there, right? That's where they're going to be. Now we want them to turn and move up here towards you. They have to come at you. You are attacking their settlement, right? So which means you're the aggressor. So technically he can just sit there. You would have to attack him. However, you have the grudge thrower, so you've got range. So once you pop that grudge thrower about here, it's going to be able to shoot to down here anyway. So they're going to have to attack you because you're just going to sit there attacking them. Yeah, so then grab your 2 archers and pop 1 archer unit here, back a little bit, so probably about there, and maybe there. Small box like we talked about. Yeah, that's good. Just a little bit in from the edge. Excellent. That's perfect. Put another one in here. So we're allowing in case they try to slip around. Yep. So
yeah.
put another one here.
You always want to take the top of the hill.
Well, you always want to make your enemy fight for the high ground. So I would reduce that box a little bit in case you need to turn it. You won't need to, but let's just practice good habits. So reduce it. Reduce the size of the formation. Just face it the right way.
Yeah, you're right. I did that. That's silly.
That doesn't matter. It's just playing with it.
Hold on, I'm just moving them, getting used to it.
When you're first playing, it feels a little bit unco, but you'll get very quick with the mouse after a while. All right, so grab your artillery and whack them a little bit back from your front line. Probably about there. Now, there are some good habits to get into. Remember that artillery work like archers. The reason we've got the archers on the sides is that they can then shoot across like we talked about, like that. Yeah. So we don't want these archers shooting there like this. They can shoot. They'll shoot very accurately up to about here into whatever's coming at them. But you'll get better accuracy generally shooting across. They may have changed that recently, but I'm pretty sure that's still the case, right? So as they move in, they'll shoot that way. And then when we engage, they'll shoot across each other. Now, the same works for your artillery. Usually what you do is try and put your artillery over here, back a little bit, so that it can shoot down your line, right? Without killing your own troops. Because it absolutely cannot shoot here, right? It can shoot, if you have a look at it, you can see that it'll shoot right up to this point, fairly accurately. So by having it set on a slight angle here, facing that way, it can shoot down your line without, so it can take out a blob here or here. This will be too tight for it to hit, yeah? However, in this case, we don't have anything to protect it. So if something comes out and we're engaged all along the front line, it's going to get taken out. So in this case, we're going to leave it in the center for now. We can always move it back a little bit once we've engaged in the front line if we need to. With these guys here, what I would have them do is sit behind your artillery just in case something sneaks around, so you can move it in to engage them before it hits them.
So they're more likely to come around on the right
they could
left, because there's a lot less room for them to move.
Well, they can come. Right, you don't have the troops to cover your flanks here, right? So you got one. You could sit him here, but what I would do is sit him in the middle, because you've only got one, right? So that way, no, sit him over here. That way, if they come around this side, you can do it. If they come around this side, you can react to it. Either way, if he's sitting in the middle, he can go left or he can go right. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah, I get you. I see. Yep.
And then later on, if you're fighting things like Skaven, who can, like, as you've watched me do plenty of times, who can just erupt a little clan of Skaven on top of your artillery, they can shoot in there and take care of it. So you remember you were watching me play Queek and they kept doing the Ashupti on my back lines? That's why I was sitting in there. So
I'm going to give you control of my general for now.
Yep, you can do the rest.
I am not totally focused on the entire army yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You got to get your mind around, like, where's this one going? What's it doing? What's this one doing?
You've been playing the game. This is a very complex game to learn, and you've been playing it for all of an hour. So don't stress.
You're explaining it too well. I mean, you talk too much, but you explain it really well.
Probably. But that's what
the whole. How long I can? How long can I milk that joke for?
All right. Okay. Come on. All right. So start the battle. Start the battle.
Give you my general and my hammerers because they're very important. With the others, I should be fine.
Your hammerers are now hidden. They're safe, so they should be fine. And no, they're not going to get head all the way down there. Okay, so he doesn't have any cavalry. So we can have a look. We knew this from this starting screen. Always look to see what your opponent's got cavalry-wise, especially with dwarves, because they're going to be trying to get in the cookie jar, as we talked about earlier. Now,
that's great. Those. Keep going. Yes.
Something to look at here, mate, is that they don't actually have a general unit. So one of their units is then designated. So these Rend Eater But boys, Orc boys, this whole unit is now their general instead of having an actual general.
How do you know that?
Well, can you see the little star over the top of them?
Yeah, star means general.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere you see that particular star, it means it's the general, right? If you have a look at your one, it's a star as well. That means they're the controlling
Always
general.
A star.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, you could just let your catapults go because they're doing a good job anyway. I would have them set on the orc boys, not the spear goblins, right? So maybe click on your grudge thrower and have him attack their general unit. Try and drop its morale and kill it off quickly because that'll make them flee. So as soon as you drop this unit, they're all gonna run. Goblins aren't worth it. They're shit unit anyway, so don't waste your grudge thrower's time on it. The orcs are a much tougher unit, and this is, as I said, the general unit. Now, with your archers, focus your archer fire on the orcs.
Already doing that.
Okay, well, those are goblins, spears. These are your orcs here. So get these guys shooting this guy, because you want to pull him down as quickly as you can. Okay, and grab these guys, shooting these guys. So shoot here.
Yep.
Okay. No, not them. Here. So grab these guys and shoot here. All right, slow, or go to pause for me, Beast. Okay, so you need to get, now that these guys are so close, see how your archers are basically not shooting now? So these archers...
Pull them back.
Well, you don't need to pull them back, right? This is why you don't put them too close to the lines too, because when you turn these guys, they're going to turn into your front line a little bit here. So if they pull back a little bit more, when they turn, they'll be free. But you need to basically grab these guys and start attacking this line, right?
Line from where they are.
Yeah, so just let them, just click on them and click attack here. This guy's here. So these guys should be shooting across this way. That way they'll get a clear line of sight. Also, both of these units on this side are orc boys, which have much greater attack than goblins, right? So the goblins are weak as they're just chaff, right? So your dwarves will easily be able to fight them off. Like they could fight off 4 of them. Whereas the Orc boys they're still not equal to your dwarves by a long shot, but they represent the biggest threat on the field, plus the generals down here. So again, you really want to focus him down. So grab your archers from here, shoot them at the generals unit here. There is 2 orcs here. Yep. Shoot the generals first. These guys will now not really be able to fire effectively here. So move them to shooting across this way. Right? Now, there's another reason.
The further they shoot, the better they are.
No, it's line of sight, man. They're too close to your front line here to get accurate fire in. Yeah? So you shoot them across.
They're lobbing.
They'll lob across into here, and these guys will lob across into here. The other side of it too, mate, is that you've got 2 units attacking this unit and 2 units attacking this unit, only 1 here. So this one is going to break first. Okay? So you don't need to use extra support on the center, but you do on either of your flanks. So crosshatch your archers.
I have.
Yep. Like that. Move this guy. Yeah, so he's already shooting here. So what I would probably do is just keep an eye on him. How well is he actually shooting? If he's shooting well enough and you think that he's doing damage, great, leave him where he is. If not, pull him back and then shoot. Yeah? But I just watch it for a couple of seconds. Now, with these guys, everything's engaged in the front here, right? Everything's engaged. So you don't really have to worry too much. These guys are going to win. They could support in the middle, but you're not going to need that. They could support over here, but again, these are only goblin spearmen. You're not going to need that. So, I mean, these guys aren't going to need it either, but I would be looking to move them in support of this line. This is where the heaviest amount of attacking is coming from. Cool.
Okay, I was just thinking that actually. Yeah, I'll send them right into the middle. Done. Okay, I've told them all to do what you said to do.
Okay, restart it at full pace and go for it.
Told the catapults to cross.
So you see what we were saying here? How they've turned and now they're inside the fighting. They're not too bad because the front line's still okay. But if we'd left them out a little bit more when they turned, they would have ended up no further than that. Also,
what I was thinking is that if I have them closer to the units, they could fire at the enemies quicker. But that doesn't work when they get... Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah. See how you're getting more archer fire in here?
Yes.
Crosshatch?
Yes, and they're all breaking. They're all getting scared already.
Right.
You could pick off these runners with the guys in the... Yeah.
So you really need to, with the dwarves, you really need to use, like, you can win or lose, especially higher up, with how much fire these guys can put out, right? So they're all shattered. You've just won that. It's 100% hands down. And it's a settlement battle, so you've won it straight up. We didn't even use the Grudgebringer there. We didn't even use our general. Didn't even need to fight.
That won't always be that easy, but yeah.
It won't always be that easy, but that's just a good way of basically giving you a bit of a description of basic tactics, understanding how the game works, yeah?
Yeah, I got that. I understood everything you said then. I may not have, I may have gone, duh, a bit.
No, but mate, it just takes time and practice. That's all it is.
The archers to lob their attacks, not straight line attack all the time.
Well, these are just basic mistakes that new players learn. My mate Ollie, who I play with, actually taught me some of the bits and pieces. I've been playing for a good year, and he was still teaching me things when I was playing co-op with him. That's what the beauty of co-op is. This game is so in depth that you might not know stuff. There's so much to do with paper, scissors, rock with different factions and different abilities, and there's just so much to the game. So learning, it will always make you a better general. All right, and that'll do us for this episode. We're at 53 minutes. I did try to keep it there, guys, but I do apologize. Hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Hopefully it's not too much talking.
Next time will be a lot more battling.
Well, we got a couple of battles in that one, so that wasn't too bad. But either way, guys...
Next time we're probably a lot more battling.
If you have any questions or if you have any tips for new players who will be watching this, then please do leave them down in the comments below. I really appreciate it. I know anybody watching would really appreciate it. It can be a tough game. It can be very daunting when you first get in here. Most experienced players don't think of it that way anymore, but you've probably spent years on it like I have. And a lot of Total War players go through the Total War series, so they've played other Total War games. But once you know a Total War game, you can kind of pick them up. So, as always, guys, leave a like, a thumbs up if you have, a thumbs down if you haven't. Better yet, if you're going to leave a thumbs down, maybe just write a little message and let me know what you did like or didn't like, so we can I can change it for future. But otherwise, leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe for me. That would really help. We just got to 70. We just got to 70 people. I'm so excited. You got people out there with like 100,000 and millions and 20,000 and all this. I'm just excited about 70 followers to the channel. We're very small, but we're growing as a Warhammer channel. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, make sure you join us for the next episode of Dog Shadow Gaming. Beastie?
Thanks all. Glad you're watching. Let me know if I screwed up too much. Have a good night.
No worries, guys. See you later. Thanks very much.